Wow, the NFL draft is finally here. It is draft week, people, and I got 5 rookie prospect dream scenario fits coming at you right now. Now, we're pretty much clear on who the first quarterback will be off the draft, but there's plenty of questions after that. And I want to talk about Bo Nix in a perfect dream scenario for him. I mean, honestly, we already know where Jaden Daniels could go, where Drake May can go, even JJ McCarthy. Penix, we kind of have an idea as well, but Bo Nix is the biggest question mark of where he could fit. In my dream scenarios with Sean Payton, the Denver Broncos. I think they sit patient at 12. I know everybody has them pinned to moving up in the draft to go get aggressive, to go get JJ McCarthy, but I don't think they're going to be out the Vikings, being that they don't really have the draft picks or leverage to try to be that aggressive and jump ahead of the Vikings. So I think they sit patient at 12 or even move back. I don't know, but they can get Bo Nix. And I think Bo Nix will fit Sean Payton's system and what he wants to do at quarterback. You're getting a veteran guy. I honestly could say that because he has the most college starts, 61 starts in his career, Auburn and Oregon. So I feel as though you're coming in with a guy that has some type of leadership to him. You have some type of experience with him. He has a good football IQ, and he's not really a risk taker. He's been a safe player, and especially last season, not much turnovers in his career whatsoever. Only 26 in his career as a collegiate player. I mean, he's not a powerhouse guy to go downfield and march down the field, but it's not out of his tool belt. It's not out of his utility belt. He has a great arm. He has the ability to make every throw that's in the book, and I mean, we know how accurate he could be from short to intermediate. So I think this plays well as a nice fit for the Denver Broncos for where they don't have to do much to give up much to go get a Bo Nix. And I think that would be a solid fit for him to be successful in the years to come. Now, another dream scenario for me is Xavier Worthy. A lot of people have him as a first round grade. Some people think he'll go in the second round, but I think he's going to surprise the world going in the first round to the Colts. Now, this is a dream scenario for me because I'm a huge fan of Anthony Richardson, and that is an area that they need a dynamic wide receiver with speed like Xavier Worthy. And obviously, the headlines are on how fast he is with that 40 time. Fast as all time. The dude is electric. The speed is electric. But what is not being talked about enough and kept the same energy about Xavier Worthy is his route running, a consistent release off the line. A lot of people are going to be playing cushion on him, a lot of off ball on him just based on their going to respect his speed. But he is such a great route runner. Stick his foot in the ground, turn and make a play. He can make a guy miss, makes the defender hips not roll fast enough, etc., etc. Xavier Worthy is one of those guys that can change the dynamic of this Colts offense, being that that's an area of concern that they had for a while, being that Alec Pierce going into his third year was supposed to be the Z wide receiver of that offense, a guy that's supposed to hit that go route, be the deep field target, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, Alec Pierce in the last 2 seasons had 33 targets of 20 plus air yards with only 39% catch rate there. So that's not really efficient or effective there to be impactful. So you get a guy like Xavier Worthy who can run that go route, run that 9 route, and tracks the ball very well. And he's able to pick up speed even if the ball is overthrown. So one of these things that I think Anthony Richardson needs on this offense to be successful is a speedster like Xavier Worthy who has a ton of route running ability in his utility belt. This is going to be something magical if the Colts bring in a guy like Xavier Worthy. Now, you probably heard this a ton from the reports and rumors about Brock Bowers going to the Jets. And listen, this is a dream scenario. This counts as a dream scenario because that is the one position they are just missing right now to make this offense complete. You have a great wide receiver on the perimeter in Garrett Wilson, and then you just signed Mike Williams, who is a huge playmaker who could stretch the field and make some really good plays for Aaron Rodgers. And then you had Breece Hall at running back, who was still electric, who still has some pep in his step, obviously last season. With that, you bring in a guy like Brock Bowers, who you could put in motion, put in screens where the yak monster will arrive, and with confident hands. This guy has the hands confidence as if he's Odell Beckham, because there's not a catch that was overthrown or behind him or too far in front of him that he didn't try to one hand that thing. And he's one of those guys that can make plays like that as well. We've seen it enough from him. He is one of Georgia's best weapons on that offense, if not the best weapon on that offense. offense. So I think you bringing in a guy like Brock Bowers that can act as a security blanket as well to make plays. And you look at Aaron Rodgers returning back from this Achilles tear, and I honestly am a little worried about him being mobile to be able to move around in that pocket. So why not get a guy like Brock Bowers where you could do the short dump offs, you could do the screen plays, you could put in motion. He is a guy that will be a threat in the middle of the field. And I think if the Jets just pull the trigger on Brock Bowers, they will seriously be in competition in that division. You have the Bills that are looking a little weak right now. You have the Dolphins who are still electric on offense, but they cannot get the job done. You can overlead them. The Patriots, who knows what the Patriots are right now. They're just not very good. So I think this is an opportunity for the Jets to crown that division, make the right pick here, make it a dream scenario to get yourself a Brock Bowers. Now, my next dream scenario, regardless of where he goes on day 2 or day 3, I think the Bengals are in the market for a running back in this draft class because I'm telling you now, a guy like Trey Benson will be a nice plug and play to bring into the Cincinnati Bengals backfield. Being that you have Zach Moss there, I don't think the production that Joe Mixon walked out the door will be held and relied on for Zach Moss and Chase Brown to kind of split that up. You get somebody like a Trey Benson who is a hard, powerful runner, a guy that's hard to bring down. He's explosive. This dude has take it to the house ability at any point of the game. Great in between the tackles, and he's a guy that can bounce outside as well, where he excels in that department. Also, a guy you could sprinkle some targets on. Like I said, you're going to try to bring in a guy that can take over some of that production that Joe Mixon has left out there. A guy like Joe Mixon, he's going to be hard to replace with a Chase Brown and Zach Moss. So I think they're still in the market for a running back here, and I think this will be a dream scenario to where Trey Benson, he definitely gets in talks of being a fantasy relevant option. He may not come through the door as that ultimate starter because they did spend 2 years worth of money on Zach Moss, but there will be a time where it's going to look clear as day that Trey Benson is going to be the better back, and I hope that the Cincinnati Bengals makes this dream scenario come true because Trey Benson, he's kind of my RB1 right now. If it's not 1A, 1B between him and Jonathan Brooks, but Trey Benson is going to be such a huge playmaker in the NFL level. So last but certainly not least, I got another running back and I got another player as a dream scenario fit for the Denver Broncos. Now, a day 2, day 3 pick with Jaylen Wright from Tennessee will be a nice plug and play there. With Sean Payton will get his type of version of an Alvin Kamara because this dude is electric, 7.4 yards per carry, and he was able to produce behind a fairly bad Tennessee O-line according to PFF, where I like guys that can still produce these numbers, explosiveness out of them, take it to the house ability, where he could stop on the dime and maintain the speed to juke you out of your socks. This is the type of player Jaylen Wright is. He has some type of pass pro protection, experience there where he's decent, where he could still be, effective in that area. I can look at him as the third down back for the Denver Broncos because we have Samaje Perine there. We kind of know what we're getting out of him. He's entering 29 years old going into the season. So I think this offense, this running back room needs a fresh start, a breath of fresh air, and Jaylen Wright is electric. This dude has elite breakaway speed here. He is one of the ones that you can see at your own 20, take it to the house and not even skip a beat and maintain speed. Jaylen Wright is one of those electric running backs that I think the Denver Broncos should really look into because you're probably thinking about Javonte Williams, who's still there. He looked okay last season. He wasn't very efficient with the 3.8 yards per carry. He had flashes in the middle of the season last year where he looked like he was the guy, but only 6 games this season, last season, where he had over 50% of the snap opportunity. So obviously something's going on there where he's not as effective. He's not efficient after coming from that injury. I still think he'll be a useful back for that Denver Broncos backfield, but a 1-2 punch with Javonte and Jaylen Wright, I think this will be a successful backfield for the Denver Broncos. So that wraps up another great episode of RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. And listen, man, it is NFL Draft Week. I'm so excited to see where these guys finally land. We honestly know what's going on. But make sure you guys like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a comment below on some of your dream scenarios on what you guys think about the episode. You guys can follow me at Real Deal Fantasy on all social media platforms. Until next time.